child. I have seen every tear you've cried. Not one has been wasted. Not one has gone unnoticed. Behind closed doors, in the silence of the night, when the burden became too heavy and you thought no one saw, I was there. I didn't just witness your pain from afar. I sat beside you in that stillness, felt every ache you couldn't find words to express, and held each silent cry as if it were a prayer. Your tears did not fall into emptiness. They fell into my hands. You may have believed your sorrow was a sign of failure, that your tears were weakness. But I tell you this, they were strength hidden in the silence. While others saw only your composure, I saw the storm raging beneath the surface. I saw the moments when you held on to hope by a thread. I saw the strength it took just to show up, to keep moving, to whisper one more prayer even when answers felt far. And yet you stayed. You kept turning to me. That is why I speak this over you now. Not just to comfort you, but to proclaim a truth. I am turning your tears into triumph. Yes, you've walked through valleys, deep, dark, and narrow. There were nights when you doubted yourself, when the lies grew louder than your faith, when shame tried to redefine your identity. But still you looked for me. Still you returned. That, my beloved, is what moved my heart. You've been carrying the weight of expectations, the scars of disappointment, the ache of unanswered questions. You've kept going when quitting would have been easier. You've trusted while trembling, loved through heartbreak, and survived when it felt like you couldn't breathe. All of that matters to me. Now I speak to the core of your being. The tears you cried were not a sign of defeat. They were the seeds of a new season. They've been watering the soil of your future, softening the ground so something divine could take root. I am not asking you to forget the sorrow. I'm showing you how I've used it. Because what looked like brokenness was actually breakthrough being born in secret. So hear me now, clearly and without question. You are not being punished. You are not being overlooked. You are not being tested to prove your worth. Your worth is not something you earn. It is something I have given you from the beginning. Your tears have not disqualified you. They have qualified you. They have made you ready for the depth I am about to reveal in your life. You see, pain has a way of chiseling away the surface until only the authentic remains. What you've endured has made room for me to dwell more fully. You are not the same person who entered the valley. You are stronger now, not because the pain didn't matter, but because you allowed it to shape you instead of harden you. You let the fire refine, not destroy. I have been with you through it all, in the loneliness, in the confusion, even in the silence that made you wonder if I still heard. And now I say this with finality. You didn't just survive. You've been transformed. The ache has carved out compassion. The sorrow has cultivated empathy. The battle has birthed a depth of trust in you that only grows in the shadows. I have seen your secret strength, your silent prayers, the resilience no one else recognized. And now I'm calling that strength forward, not to strive, but to rise. You're not returning to what was. You're stepping into what is becoming. Let go of the voice that said you failed. Release the belief that you should have known better, prayed harder, or avoided the suffering altogether. That voice is not mine. I have never spoken to you through shame. I have never withdrawn from you in your weakness. In fact, those were the moments I drew closest. You thought you were forgotten, but I have been keeping record of your tears. And now I'm writing a story of triumph, of breakthrough, of beauty from ashes. The time of hiding is over. The season of breaking has completed its work. Now, I begin to bring forth the fruit. There's no part of your pain that I will leave unredeemed. Every moment, every drop of sorrow, every question that went unanswered, I will use it all. I don't dismiss what you lost. I redeem it. I don't minimize your suffering. I multiply the strength that has come from it. The tide is turning. What felt like endless nights are giving way to a new dawn. Your mourning is turning into dancing, not as an idea but as a lived reality. Your heart will feel light again. Your laughter will rise again, not forced, but freely flowing. Not because everything is perfect, but because your soul has found peace. You were not created to live forever in grief. I am not asking you to forget. I am inviting you to remember differently, not from pain, but from promise, from the truth that I was always there, that I never let go, that even your brokenness was held in my hands, shaped with purpose. This is the beginning, my beloved. The tears you've shed have not only been seen, they have been counted, honored, and transformed. The breaking season has done its work. Now comes the building. Now comes the rising. And with each step forward, you'll walk not as one wounded, but as one awakened, not by the weight of sorrow, but by the glory that follows it. My child, I see how you still carry the burden of trying to understand why the pain had to happen. I know the voices that haunt you, the questions you ask in the quiet, the lingering thought that somehow you are to blame for what went wrong. I see how you wonder, was it my fault? Did I miss something? Could I have prevented this? But hear me clearly now. You were never meant to carry that weight. Let me set the record straight. You are not being punished. You are not being overlooked. You are not being tested to prove you are worthy. You are already worthy, not because of what you've done, but because I made you. I see you through eyes of eternal love, not by your worst moments, not by your weaknesses, not by your past. Your tears do not disqualify you. In fact, they have prepared you for a depth of purpose, a richness of compassion, and a kind of trust that only comes through walking in the shadows and still choosing light. The pain did not break you. It broke you open. And now, from that brokenness, something new is growing, something sacred, something eternal. I know you have felt like you needed to pretend, to wear strength like a shield, so no one would see how fragile you really felt. But I've never needed your performance. I've only ever wanted your presence. I didn't call you to be impressive. I called you to be honest. And when your honesty meets my love, transformation begins. There were days you barely made it through. Days when you held your breath just to make it one more hour. Nights when your pillow caught the cries that no one else ever heard. But I heard. I saw. And I was never far. I didn't wait for you to be strong again before I drew near. I was near in the weakness, in the confusion, in the chaos. I never asked you to fix yourself first. So come to me, not as someone trying to prove their worth, but as someone who knows they are safe. Safe to rest, safe to cry, safe to let go. I am not measuring your progress by how spiritual you look. I'm looking at the fire that still flickers inside, the flicker that says, I want to believe again. That flicker moves me. You've thought, at times, that if only you were more consistent, more disciplined, more put together, maybe things would be different. But I want you to hear this with clarity. I never loved a future version of you. I've always loved this version. The one who questions but still worships. The one who doubts but still returns. The one who feels weak but still shows up. That's the you I've always seen. And now, I'm calling you out of those false identities, out of the voice that says you are not enough, out of the narrative that says you missed your moment, out of the belief that your brokenness disqualifies you. That voice is not mine. I do not speak shame over you. I do not motivate through fear. I do not measure you against others. I speak truth. I speak restoration. I speak life. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not a burden to me. You are seen. You are chosen. You are carried, not because you've earned it, but because you're mine. You don't have to be on fire to stay in my presence. You don't have to be overflowing with strength to be accepted. I'm not waiting for you to clean up your mess before I draw near. I dwell in the mess. I dwell in the valley. I dwell with you. I know it's been hard. I know you've held your faith with trembling hands. I know you felt the sting of disappointment, the ache of silence, fatigue of holding on when nothing made sense. But you're still here, still listening, still hoping. That's faith, and I honor that. Yes, you've been misunderstood. Yes, you've been judged by those who never walked through what you did. You've had to explain your pain to people who didn't have the depth to understand it. And I need you to know, I never needed you to defend yourself. I've been your defender all along. I've held the record of your tears. I've written every silent prayer into the story I'm unfolding in your life. The world saw your calm exterior, but I saw the fire beneath it. A fire that's about to rise, not in bitterness, but in anointing. This is your turning point, not because you've stopped crying, but because your tears are being transformed. I will still meet you in your mourning, but now I meet you with movement. I will still hold you in your aching, but now I will speak strategy. You are stepping into a rhythm not of striving, but of rising. The weight is lifting. The clarity is coming. The strength is returning. But it's not the strength of pretending to be okay. It's the strength of knowing you are being made new. So let this truth wash over you. I am not asking you to forget what you went through. I am not asking you to minimize it. I am asking you to let me redeem it. Let the tears water the soil of your future. Let the sorrow carve space for new joy. Let the brokenness become the very place where beauty begins to bloom. Because the pain never had the final word. I do. And I say, you are redeemed. You are rising. And this is only the beginning. My child, now that you've let me speak to the depths of your pain, now that you've allowed me to hold your sorrow without resistance, I want to take you deeper. I want to talk to you about your pain, not just how it felt, but what it meant. Because pain, especially the kind you've carried, doesn't just leave emotional wounds. It reshapes how you see everything. Your future, your relationships, even your view of me. That's why I'm not here just to erase the memories. I'm here to redeem them. I'm not trying to make you forget what happened. I'm here to change how you understand it. I'm showing you the meaning behind what once felt meaningless. Not to make you relive it, but so that you'll stop fearing it. I want you to look at your suffering through my eyes, to see that it was not meant to define you, but to distinguish you. I know there were moments when the pain felt cruel. I know how many nights you lay awake wondering if I was angry, if I was distant, if you were being punished. But hear me now. Your pain was never punishment. It was permission. It was sacred access into a place of transformation that comfort alone could never take you. You see, you asked me to grow you. You asked me to use you. You asked me to make you a vessel. And I said yes. But what you didn't know was that becoming a vessel sometimes requires being broken open. Not because I delight in your struggle, but because I'm forming something eternal inside of you. The kind of oil I want to pour out through your life cannot be produced through ease. It must come through the pressing. The pressing was never about destruction. It was about refinement. I saw something in you worth purifying. I saw a voice worth protecting. I saw a purpose that needed deep roots. I saw a future that required strength you hadn't yet discovered. I could have left you in comfort, but that would have kept you small. I could have delivered you instantly, but that would have robbed you of the strength that only grows through stretching. So I allowed the pressure. I allowed the waiting. I allowed the silence, not to harm you, but to hollow out space in you that only I could fill. Pain exposes what you believe. It strips away the noise, the distractions, the assumptions. It brings to the surface lies you didn't even know you agreed with. Lies about yourself, about others, about me. And though it felt like everything was breaking, I was using the breaking to rebuild you in truth. I never needed your perfection. I needed your honesty. And when your honesty met my love, transformation began. There were days you smiled to survive, days you kept going when all you wanted was to hide. And through all of it, I was holding you, not watching passively, but holding the very pieces that were coming undone. You didn't just suffer, you stayed. And that staying, that's what created roots. Not shallow faith, not surface-level belief, but deep, unshakable roots that anchor you in me when everything around you shifts. Those roots will hold you through storms. They will support the weight of the calling I've placed on you. They will ground you when favor begins to flow and the spotlight tempts you to forget who brought you here. I allowed the underground work because I was preparing you for visible fruit. And now, my child, I am turning the page. Not because the pain didn't matter, but because its work is complete. It shaped you, yes. It softened you. It matured you. It positioned you. But it does not own you. You are not the disappointment. You are not the betrayal. You are not the loss. You are not the one who was forgotten or passed over. You are mine. You are called. You are trusted. You are known. And now you are safe in me. I am turning your mourning into dancing, not in theory, but in reality. You will smile again without pretending. You will laugh again, and it will be real. Not because the world is perfect, but because your spirit is whole. You will speak from peace. You will love from truth. You will lead from healing. And when others ask, "What changed?" you will say, "I met God in my pain, and He turned my tears into triumph." So let the healing go all the way. Let me breathe over your memories. Let me rewrite the places where pain left its mark. This is not the time to hide what hurt. This is the time to let me redeem what hurt. The pain does not have the final word. I do. And my word over you is this: you are rising. You are stronger than you know. You are healed in ways that go beyond the surface. This is not the end. This is the beginning of glory. So, my beloved, walk forward with confidence. Not because everything makes sense, but because you know I am with you. I was with you in the breaking. I am with you in the rebuilding. And now, I walk with you into the becoming. Let the old labels fall. Let the fear of repeating history dissolve. Let the shame that clung to you in past seasons be lifted. You are not who you were. You have emerged from a fire not burned, but refined. You are not a victim of your story. You are a vessel of my presence. This is where the triumph begins, not in circumstances shifting first, but in you shifting, in your perspective changing, in your identity aligning with the truth I've spoken over you since the beginning. You are no longer in the waiting room of your breakthrough. You are stepping into it. And I, your God, your Father, your Redeemer, will walk every step with you. My beloved child, now that you have seen how your pain was not in vain, it is time we confront something deeper, your identity. Because for too long, you've worn names that I never gave you. You've accepted labels that were never mine. And it's time we tear them off. It's time I remind you of who you truly are. Not who others said you were. Not who shame told you to be. But who I called you before you ever shed your first tear. I see you standing at the edge of this new season, still holding the residue of old names. Names like failure, not enough, forgotten, too broken, too late. Those names are not your inheritance. They are not your calling. They are lies that try to attach themselves to your pain. But hear me now. Pain may have touched your life, but it does not have the authority to rename you. You are not the one who was left behind. You are the one I called out. You are not the mistake. You are my masterpiece. You are not the rejected. You are the redeemed. You are not what happened to you. You are not what others did to you. You are not the trauma, the tragedy, or the timeline. You are mine. When you wept in silence, I whispered your true name. When you questioned your worth, I held your identity firm. When you doubted your value, I never changed my mind about you. Even when you turned away, even when you gave up on yourself, I still called you by truth. And here's the truth. You are chosen. You are holy. You are set apart. You are stronger than you feel and deeper than you know. You are anointed not because of your perfection, but because of my presence upon you. It's time to stop agreeing with shame. It's time to stop letting old wounds narrate your story. Yes, the pain shaped parts of you, but it does not own you. It taught you compassion, but it does not define your capacity. It taught you caution, but it does not determine your courage. I am restoring your original design, the you that still believes, still hopes, still loves, still dreams. Can you feel it? The weight beginning to lift? That's what happens when lies break off. That's what happens when heaven speaks louder than your history. I am not just healing your heart, I'm healing your name. Because I cannot call you into a new season while you still respond to old identities. You've called yourself the one who always gets overlooked. But I say, you are seen. You've said, I'm always too late. But I say, you are right on time for what I have planned. You've said, I'm too broken to be useful. But I say, it's your very brokenness that became the vessel for my glory. Let me remind you, I chose Moses, though he stuttered. I chose David, though he was overlooked. I chose Esther, though she was an orphan. I chose Peter, though he denied me. I chose Mary, though no one would have believed her. And I chose you, not despite your pain, but through it. The world sees disqualification. I see destiny. The enemy tried to use your pain to distort your name, but I'm here now to restore it. You are not the one who got hurt. You are the one who got healed. You are not the one who was betrayed. You are the one who learned unshakable loyalty. You are not the abandoned. You are the beloved. My child, speak these words with me, not just as a hope, but as a declaration of truth. I am not my past. I am not my failure. I am not what they called me. I am what God calls me. I am chosen. I am healed. I am whole. I am His. Let your heart say it again and again until it sinks deeper than the pain ever reached. Let it echo through every wounded place until identity replaces insecurity. I am not just mending your emotions. I am rebuilding your foundation, and your identity is the first stone I lay. Solid, unshakable, eternal. From this new identity, everything shifts. You will speak with clarity. You will move with confidence. You will love without fear. Because when you know who you are in me, no storm, no voice, no failure can undo it. You've lived under lies long enough. It's time to walk in truth. And truth says, you are not a leftover. You are not a second thought. You are not barely surviving. You are rising. And you are rising with purpose. I'm not just giving you back your joy. I'm restoring your voice. I'm not just healing your story. I'm redeeming your identity. And with that restored identity, you will help others rise too. Because the healing in you will overflow into healing for others. This is what I do. I don't just dry tears. I transform them. I don't just lift burdens. I release destinies. I don't just whisper comfort. I restore names. You're not who pain said you are. You are who I say you are. And what I say, no lie can undo. So walk forward, not with fear, but with fire. With the authority of someone who has been through the storm and come out singing. You are not a victim of your story. You are the evidence of my glory. Welcome to your true name. Welcome to your true self. Welcome to the triumph. My child, now that your identity is being restored, now that you're learning to see yourself as I see you, it is time to step into the new. Yes, the season is shifting. The atmosphere around your life is changing. What once felt like winter, cold and silent, is now breaking open into spring. The seeds watered by your tears are beginning to rise, and what you could not see is now being revealed. This is not a small change. This is a divine shift, a spiritual turning point. What was hidden is being uncovered. What was buried is being called forth. What was broken is being rebuilt, not the same, but better, stronger, wiser, deeper. This is the beginning of your becoming. You've asked me, Lord, when will things change? And I say to you now, they already have. The change didn't begin with your circumstances. It began with your perspective. It began the moment you stopped asking why me and started asking what now. That question opened the door to destiny. That question aligned your heart with mine. That question showed me you're ready to move from mourning to mission, ready to trade survival for purpose, ready to walk out of the valley, not just relieved, but refined. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait for every detail to line up. I do not call you according to circumstance. I call you according to my timing. And the time is now. I know it still feels vulnerable. I know stepping into something new can stir up fear. What if I fall again? What if I get hurt? What if I'm not strong enough? But what if, my child, what if you fly? What if this time is different because you're different? What if the very things that broke you are now the things that make you brave? I didn't bring you this far to leave you now. I didn't heal your heart so you could keep hiding. I didn't rebuild your strength so you could stay silent. I am calling you forward, not because you're fully ready by the world's standards, but because you are willing to trust me, willing to risk again, willing to walk by faith, not by what you see. The doors that once slammed shut are now being unlocked, not by force, but by favor. The rooms you were kept out of are now being prepared for your arrival. The people who once overlooked you will now witness what I've placed inside you. But remember this season is not about proving anything to them. It's about fulfilling what I've written over your life. There's no need to perform. There's no need to strive. I am the one who opens the way. You only need to walk with me, step by step, one obedient move at a time. You don't need to leap. You just need to follow. I will guide. I will cover. I will provide. Let go of the pressure to be perfect in your new season. Let go of the fear that you'll repeat old mistakes. You are not who you were. You're walking into this new place with new eyes, new strength, and new authority. Authority that came through the crushing. Authority that came through the midnight wrestling. Authority that can't be faked because it's been forged in fire. You will feel the difference. You'll notice that what once intimidated you no longer has power. You'll notice your voice no longer shakes when you speak truth. You'll feel peace in places that once stirred panic. That's because I've shifted you from the inside out. This season isn't just about what I'm doing around you. It's about what I've done inside you. You've been changed, not by chance, but by grace. You've been prepared, not by your planning, but by my process. And now, what I placed in you during the wilderness is about to be revealed in the open. The things that took root in tears will bloom in triumph. The oil that was pressed out in private will pour out in public. Your voice will carry weight because it carries my presence. Your hands will bring healing because they've been through the fire. You will not just speak about me, you will release me. Yes, you will still feel the sting of the past from time to time, but it will no longer paralyze you. It will no longer define you. It will no longer dictate your decisions. It will serve as a reminder that I still redeem, I still restore, I still raise up the broken and breathe new life into dry bones. So walk forward, lift your head, take the first step, and as you do, watch what I release. Watch the connections I bring that feel like divine appointments. Watch the opportunities unfold that you never even prayed for because you didn't think you were allowed to dream again. Watch the confidence rise, not ego, but holy certainty. Because when I say your season has shifted, I mean that what once resisted you will now recognize you. What once fought against you will now make room for you. Not because you fought harder, but because you surrendered deeper. My child, this is your moment. Not a fleeting emotion, but a divinely timed release. Heaven is echoing with the sound of your name being called forward. You're not being skipped. You're not being sidelined. You're being sent. And you're not going alone. I go with you. I go before you. I surround you. I sing over you. I celebrate your rising. This is your new season. Step into it with me, my beloved child. Now that you've stepped into your new season, I want you to understand something essential. This path you're walking is not random. It is not aimless. It is strategic, intentional, divinely designed. Every step, every delay, every redirection, it has all been a part of a holy journey I've crafted with love and foresight. You see broken pieces scattered from the past and wonder how anything whole can come from it. But I don't just repair what's broken, I reimagine it. I don't glue back the old. I create something new, something better, something eternal. I am not just leading you forward. I am forming something glorious through you. The wounds, the scars, the battlefields of your life, they are not evidence of failure, but evidence of overcoming. And now, I am weaving every shattered moment into a testimony of my power. Do you remember the moments when you thought it was over? When the pain silenced your voice? When your strength ran out? I was there, not just watching, intervening, holding the foundation together when everything in your world seemed to fall apart. Even when you couldn't trace me, I was at work, beneath the surface, within the silence, beyond the closed doors. Because I wasn't just preserving you, I was preparing you. For such a time as this. You've been asking, God, what's next? And here's my answer. I am releasing a glory through your life that could only come from your journey. You've paid a price in tears, in waiting, in surrender. And now, the time has come for you to carry something sacred, not just for yourself, but for others. This is the season where your pain becomes platform, where your wounds become windows for others to see my healing, where your silence becomes a song of deliverance, where your delays become divine timing. You will not just walk in freedom, you will bring freedom. You will not just recover your voice, you will amplify the voices of those still afraid to speak. You will not just be restored, you will become a restorer. But you must understand, the anointing I've placed on your life is not the result of ease. It was birthed through the crushing. The oil that flows from your spirit was pressed out drop by drop, prayer by desperate prayer. And that oil, that costly oil, is what makes the enemy tremble. The reason the resistance was so intense was because the calling is so significant. The enemy tried to take you out because he saw what you did. He saw the fire being lit in your wilderness. He saw the mantle being formed while you cried in the dark. He saw the rising, even when you couldn't yet feel it. But he failed, because I held you. I covered you. I guarded the promise inside of you. And now, that promise is maturing. It's unfolding. It's stepping into its appointed time. This is not just a healing season, it's a harvest season. And what you're reaping is not random. You're reaping what was sown in faith when you had every reason to walk away. You're reaping from the nights you prayed and no one knew, from the moments you gave when you had nothing left, from the choices to forgive, to believe, to stay, even when quitting seemed easier. Heaven remembers it all. I have not overlooked your obedience. I have not forgotten your sacrifice. I have not ignored your faithfulness. I was storing every tear in a bottle, I was recording every act of surrender. And now, I pour back into your life what you never thought would return. But listen closely. I am not simply giving you back what was lost. I'm giving you more, better, greater. Not just restoration, but multiplication. Because that's what I do. I take mourning and give joy. I take ashes and give beauty. I take weeping and release songs of triumph. And I take people like you, the ones who thought they were too bruised, too late, too weak, and I raise them into carriers of my glory. So walk forward with confidence, not arrogance, but holy boldness, the kind of boldness that comes from knowing who walks beside you. I am not sending you alone. I am going before you. I am lighting the path. I am moving obstacles. I am aligning divine appointments. I am making a way where there was no way. The glory I'm releasing is not shallow. It's not about applause or platform. It's about presence. It's about people encountering me through your life. It's about cities shifting, families being restored, hearts being healed, not by your strength, but by my spirit moving through you. And yes, the journey ahead will still have battles, but you won't fight the same way. You won't tremble. You won't retreat. You'll stand, knowing that the one who brought you through the fire is still with you in the fight. You've been prepared in the shadows, and now I'm bringing you into the light, not to be seen, but to shine my light. You are not stepping forward as a victim. You are stepping forward as a victor. You are not walking out of pain empty-handed. You are walking out carrying glory. So let your heart rise with hope. Let your spirit burn again with faith. Let your hands lift in surrender and confidence, because this is not the end of your story. This is the chapter where my glory explodes through your life like never before. The ashes have settled. The tears have been counted. The time has come. Let's begin. My child, now that you are stepping into this new season clothed in truth and filled with courage, let me tell you something profound. I will use the very things that tried to break you to build you. The moments that wounded you, I will turn them into testimonies. The battles you thought would end you, I will use them to launch you. Nothing was wasted, not even your lowest point. The enemy thought the pain would be your end, but I knew it would be your beginning. I knew it would awaken things in you that comfort never could. I knew it would teach you how to stand, not in your own strength, but in mine. I knew it would strip away all the noise and leave only what is eternal. I knew it would draw you closer to me. What was once your place of breaking is becoming your place of birthing. What used to make you cry will soon make you sing. You will look back not with bitterness, but with boldness, declaring, "Look what the Lord has done." You've heard the saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." But I say to you, what tried to kill you has made you dangerous to darkness. You are now a carrier of authority, not from books or titles, but from surviving the valley and still worshiping, from walking through fire and not smelling like smoke, from clinging to me when it seemed nothing made sense. You are a weapon in my hand, not because you're perfect, but because you're willing to be real, willing to be refined, willing to be sent. And child, I will send you, but not empty, not weary, not doubting. I am sending you full of fire, full of truth, full of my spirit. You're not just going to survive this new season. You're going to thrive in it, because the very things that tried to bury you became the soil for a deeper anointing. You've cried out, "Lord, why did I have to go through that?" And my answer is not punishment, it's purpose. You were being prepared to carry weight. You were being positioned to release healing. You were being shaped to stand in places others avoid. Because I am building through you something that cannot be shaken. Something that will not collapse when storms come. Something real. Something lasting. And it could only be formed in fire. The enemy hoped you would become bitter, but you're becoming brave. He wanted you paralyzed by the past, but you're becoming propelled by purpose. He hoped you'd lose your voice, but now your voice carries my word. He tried to isolate you in shame, but I am surrounding you with glory. You are not who you were when the pain began. You've grown, you've changed, you've deepened, and now it's time to let the world see what I've been forming in secret. Don't hide the story. Don't silence the journey. There's someone waiting on the other side of your honesty. Someone who will hear your words and feel seen. Someone who will touch your scars and know healing is possible. Someone who will encounter me because you were brave enough to say, "Here's what I've walked through, and here's how God walked with me." I am not ashamed of your past. I am not embarrassed by your weakness. I don't cringe at your scars. I call them beautiful. I call them evidence of grace. I call them altars, places where heaven touched earth and made all things new. You thought your ministry would come from your strength, but I'm birthing it through your wounds. Not because you failed, but because you trusted me with your failure. Because you gave me what was broken, and I turned it into something holy. And now, every lie that said, "You'll never make it," is being silenced by truth. Every fear that said, "You're not ready," is being overcome by faith. Every voice that said, "You're too much, too late, too wounded," is being drowned out by my voice, the voice that has always called you enough. So arise, beloved, not in pretense, but in power, not in pride, but in presence. I am walking with you, and my presence is your assurance. You won't have to knock down doors. You won't have to manipulate access. What I've ordained, I will open. What I've anointed, I will advance. Let me make this clear. Your weakness is not a liability. It's the landing strip for my strength. Every area where you feel insufficient is a place I'm ready to reveal sufficiency. Every moment you thought disqualified you is now a testimony of grace greater than failure. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are a pioneer of promise. You are not running from brokenness. You are walking into blessing. Because you believed me in the valley, I am now entrusting you with victory on the mountain. So don't be afraid to revisit what hurt, not to relive it, but to redeem it, not to explain it away, but to expose my goodness in it, not to glorify pain, but to glorify my power to heal what seemed impossible. This is what I do. I take the crushed and create oil. I take the weeping and release worship. I take what the enemy used for harm and use it to deliver nations. And I'm starting with you. What once brought shame will now bring strength. What once caused fear will now fuel faith. What once broke your heart is now the very ground where my glory will dwell. So stand tall, child. Stand firm. And know the story is turning. The ending is shifting. The ashes are lifting. The glory is rising. You've gone from broken to bold, from wounded to walking in wonder, from forgotten to fully anointed. This is your divine reversal. This is your turning point. This is triumph. My child, now that you've embraced your identity and allowed me to turn your brokenness into boldness, hear me clearly. I am opening doors that no man, no system, no past mistake can shut. These doors are not openings you earned. They are gifts of grace, not the result of striving, but of surrender. There were seasons when every door felt locked. Every opportunity seemed to pass you by. You knocked, and there was no answer. You prayed, and it seemed like silence. But what you didn't see was how I was aligning everything behind the scenes. I wasn't withholding from you. I was protecting you, protecting your timing, your heart, your capacity, your calling. I only open doors when you're ready to walk through them with me. Not rushed, not desperate, not empty, but filled with my presence and grounded in who you truly are. And child, you're ready now. You're ready not because you feel brave, but because you've learned how to trust. You're ready not because you know the whole plan, but because you've surrendered the need to know. You're ready not because everything looks perfect, but because you've discovered that obedience is enough. So I say this to you now with divine assurance. The waiting was not wasted. The delay was not denial. The silence was not abandonment. It was preparation. And the door I'm opening before you now leads into something greater than you prayed for. No, it may not look the way you imagined, but it will carry everything you hoped for deep in your spirit. Peace, purpose, provision, presence. This is a door into deeper partnership with me. It's not just an opportunity, it's an invitation into greater intimacy, into deeper dependency, into wider impact. This door leads to fruitfulness, but not apart from me, through me. You won't have to force it open. You won't have to manipulate the outcome. What I open, I sustain. What I lead you into, I walk with you through. You won't enter this alone. You won't face what's ahead without me. I go before you, and I've already prepared the way. The people you need, I've already placed them. The resources required, I've already released them. The wisdom necessary, I've already deposited it in your spirit, and I will continue to pour it in as you walk. But I need you to do one thing. Step forward. Not when you feel completely confident, not when everything is certain. Step forward when you hear my voice. Obey without delay, because obedience is the key that unlocks the flow of favor. Favor is not about applause. It's not about open doors to be seen. Favor is the supernatural alignment that happens when heaven partners with earth through your obedience. And the doors I'm opening for you now are not just for your benefit. They are for the people waiting on the other side. The ones I've assigned to your voice, your touch, your story. Yes, child, your story is a key. Not because it's neat, but because it's real. Not because it's glamorous, but because it's anointed. Not because it's impressive, but because it's honest. There's someone whose breakthrough is tied to your yes. Someone's healing depends on your obedience. Someone's freedom will be released through your courage to walk through the door I've set before you. So don't hold back. Don't disqualify yourself with fear. Don't compare your door to someone else's hallway. This is your moment, and it's not small. You prayed for doors to open, and I'm telling you, they are opening now. But don't just look with natural eyes. See with spiritual vision. The doorway might not look like a stage. It might look like a conversation. It might not look like a spotlight. It might look like a quiet act of service. It might not feel glamorous, but it will be glorious. Because what I open is holy, and the space I've carved out for you in this season will fit you perfectly. Not the version of you that tried to be like everyone else, but the you I created from the beginning. The authentic you, the healed you, the anointed you. And no man can close what I open. No accusation can reverse my decision. No attack can revoke my access. What I open, I protect. And the authority I've placed on your life cannot be voted on by people. It cannot be diminished by rejection. It cannot be delayed by opposition. I am the one who opens, and I am faithful to finish what I start. So walk through the open door, not with fear, but with fire, with expectation, with joy, with confidence rooted not in yourself, but in me. And when you step in, remember, this is not the finish line. It's the unfolding, the beginning of something sacred, a journey of walking hand in hand with me into spaces prepared long before you knew how to pray for them. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are right on time for what I've ordained. This door, this moment, this season, it was written for you. Now walk in, my beloved child. Now that you've stepped through the door I have opened for you, I want to remind you of this unshakable truth. It is your faith that activates the fullness of what I'm releasing into your life. Not faith in outcomes, but faith in me. Faith that holds on when it doesn't yet see. Faith that believes even when the evidence is thin. Faith that refuses to let go. You've walked through shadows. You've wrestled in the silence. You've stood when standing felt impossible. And in all of it, your faith has been rising, quietly, deeply, steadily. You may not have noticed, but I did. I've been watching that faith grow in the dark, like roots digging deep into the unseen, preparing to support something miraculous. Because now, I'm inviting you to live not just by survival, but by supernatural trust. This is where the impossible begins to bow. This is where mountains start moving, not by might, not by power, but by faith. You may not feel brave. That's okay. Faith doesn't always feel like roaring. Sometimes it feels like whispering yes through trembling lips. Sometimes faith is just breathing, just staying, just showing up one more time. And I honor every act of faith, no matter how small it seems. Remember, it was faith that caused Abraham to leave everything familiar. It was faith that led Moses to stand before Pharaoh with only a staff. It was faith that allowed David to face Goliath with 5 stones. It was faith that brought down the walls of Jericho with nothing but a shout. And it is faith, your faith, that is unlocking what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. Yes, the battle has been real, but so has your faith. And it's your faith that has made you dangerous to the darkness. Your faith that has disarmed fear. Your faith that has confused the enemy. Your faith that has drawn heaven near. So now I say to you, keep walking by faith. Not just on the mountaintop, but in the valley. Not just when you feel me closely, but even when the road seems unclear. Because faith isn't about the path being easy. It's about trusting that I'm with you on it. There will be moments when logic tells you to turn back, when fear whispers, it's not going to happen, when the timeline feels stretched beyond what you hoped. But in those moments, anchor your heart in what I promised you. Remind your soul of who I am, not just what you feel. I have never lied to you. I have never failed you. I have never abandoned a word I've spoken over your life. And I won't start now. The breakthrough I've spoken, it's still coming. The healing you've been waiting for, I am working it even now. The provision you can't see, I've already assigned it to your need. But I'm not just building answers, I'm building you. I'm shaping you into someone who doesn't just want blessings, but knows how to carry glory. Who doesn't just ask for miracles, but lives like one. Faith does that. Faith transforms ordinary days into holy ground. Faith takes the mundane and infuses it with meaning. Faith speaks when everything says to stay silent. Faith worships while waiting. Faith gives thanks while grieving. Faith builds altars in the ashes and says, even here, God is good. So keep moving, not because you see the end, but because you trust me in the middle. You're not wandering. You're being led. You're not stuck. You're being strengthened. You're not forgotten. You're being formed. You're learning to live from the inside out, not driven by fear or pressure, but rooted in faith. Faith that I am enough. Faith that you are enough, not because of what you've done, but because of who I've called you to be. And as you walk by faith, the atmosphere around you will begin to shift. Doors will open because you believe. Walls will fall because you trust. Hearts will heal because you speak. Provision will flow because you refuse to retreat. I know it's not easy. I never said it would be, but I promised I'd go with you. And I have. Every step, every tear, every whispered prayer in the dark. I've been here, and I will be here as long as it takes. So don't give up because it's taking longer than expected. Delay does not mean denial. Silence does not mean absence. I'm not just after results. I'm after relationship. And faith is how we walk together, heart to heart, step by step. You won't regret trusting me, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because the reward is not just in what you receive, it's in who you become. You are becoming unshakable. You are becoming full of wisdom. You are becoming the living testimony of my faithfulness. And soon, those around you will see what I've seen all along: a warrior, a worshiper, a witness, someone who didn't just talk about faith, but walked it out. This is who you are. This is how you live now. By faith, by fire, by me. And through it all, I will never let you fall. My beloved child, I know the waiting has been long. I've seen the days when hope felt thin, when you asked, "How much longer, Lord?" I've heard the sighs behind your prayers, the quiet ache that wondered if I still remembered what I promised. And today I say to you, I have not forgotten, not a word, not a dream, not a single tear you cried while waiting. Waiting is not a punishment. It is not a sign of disfavor. It is preparation for glory. The world tells you that waiting is wasted time. But in my kingdom, waiting is where roots grow deep, where faith is refined, where character is forged. You are not in a holding pattern. You are in holy process. I've been working in the waiting, not just around you, but within you. I've been growing strength in places you didn't know needed reinforcement. I've been healing wounds you didn't realize were still open. I've been stretching your vision to see beyond temporary blessings into eternal purpose. You asked for something good, but I'm preparing you for something greater. I am not just preparing what's ahead for you. I'm preparing you for what's ahead. Because where I'm taking you, you'll need more than excitement. You'll need endurance. You'll need clarity, not just passion. And so, I've allowed the delay to become a divine classroom. Every unanswered prayer has taught you to trust me, not just what I give. Every closed door has refined your discernment to hear my "not yet" as an act of kindness, not rejection. Every slow season has anchored you deeper in my word, not the world's timeline. You thought you were falling behind, but I've been building ahead. You thought you were stuck, but I've been settling your foundation. Because the promise I have for you is not fragile, it's weighty with purpose. And purpose requires process. Think of Joseph. He was promised influence, but first, he faced betrayal, slavery, and prison. Yet in every place, I was with him. His waiting wasn't a delay, it was development. Think of David, anointed to be king, yet he spent years in caves and conflict. His crown didn't come quickly, but when it did, he was ready. Humble, tested, trustworthy. And my child, so are you. I have hidden you, not because I was withholding, but because I was protecting. I covered you while I healed you. I shielded you while I strengthened you. I quieted the noise around you, so you could hear my voice more clearly. Because now, when I open what's next, you won't walk in with ego. You'll walk in with awe. You won't demand attention. You'll carry anointing. You won't need to explain your process. Your fruit will speak for itself. The waiting has made you deep. Deep in compassion. Deep in conviction. Deep in connection with me. So don't despise this slow season. Don't rush out of it. Let it do its complete work. Let it finish refining what needs to be purified. Let it cultivate joy that isn't circumstantial. Let it anchor peace that can't be shaken. Because when I move, it will happen suddenly. Yes, there are seasons where nothing seems to move for years, and then, in a moment, everything shifts. That's the kind of God I am, faithful in the process, swift in the fulfillment. But know this, even when it looks like nothing is happening, everything is happening in the unseen. Angels are moving, resources are aligning, people are being prepared, and most importantly, you are being made ready. You've grown through the waiting. You've matured in the tension. You've learned to worship even when the answers didn't come. And that kind of heart, that kind of trust, I will honor. So here's my promise. Not one day will be wasted. Not 1 second of your surrender is forgotten. I redeem all things, even the silent seasons, especially the silent seasons, because in those moments, your roots reach deepest, and now your fruit will reach farthest. You may not realize it yet, but the person you've become and the waiting is the greatest answer to your own prayers. You prayed for peace, and I taught you how to anchor in me. You prayed for purpose, and I revealed it through persistence. You prayed for strength, and I built it in every day you didn't give up. So no, child, you have not been wasting time. You have been walking with me, and in my timing, I will make all things beautiful. You will look back on this season and thank me for every slow moment, every hard detour, every tearful delay, because it all brought you here, to a place of depth, resilience, and intimacy you never imagined. This is not a story of delay. This is a story of design. So lift your head, even while you wait. Praise, even when the promise still feels distant. Celebrate the becoming, not just the arrival. Because, child, I'm not done. The best is still ahead. And in the waiting, I've already started the miracle. My beloved child, as you continue walking this journey, out of sorrow into strength, I want you to understand something foundational. My presence is not a feeling. It is a fact. Whether you sense me or not, I am with you. I have never left you. Not for one moment. Not in your deepest valley. Not in your longest night. Not when your voice broke in prayer or when you had no words at all. I was there. Even when you couldn't feel me, I was holding you. Even when your faith wavered, my grip on you remained unchanged. Even when you walked through the fire, it did not consume you because I walked in it with you. So now, I want to teach you to live, move, and rest, not from emotional highs, but from a constant awareness of my presence. My presence is your guide, your strength, your anchor. It is not reserved for church buildings or mountaintop moments. My presence is in the quiet, in the car rides, in the routines, in the middle of chaos and calm alike. You don't have to chase me. I dwell within you. I am the whisper in your confusion, the stillness in your storm, the fire in your bones when everything outside feels cold. You've learned how to believe me in crisis. Now I'm teaching you how to abide in me daily, not rushing to me only when it's hard, but walking with me through the ordinary, not only seeking me when answers are needed, but learning to be with me, because I am enough. This is the deeper life, the life of abiding, not striving, not performing, but dwelling. You don't need to prove yourself to me. You just need to remain in me, and let me remain in you. Abiding is where fruit is born. It's where peace multiplies. It's where you stop chasing perfection and begin living from identity. In my presence, you'll find clarity when confusion knocks. In my presence, you'll discern what's real and what's counterfeit. In my presence, fear loses its grip, and joy becomes your natural response. You asked me to lead you, and I will, but not through signs alone. I lead you by my Spirit, not always with flashing lights or audible voices, but with the inner nudge, the holy pause, the peace that doesn't make sense. When you tune your heart to me, you'll hear me, not just in prayer rooms, but in every moment. So stop believing that I only speak to the spiritually elite. Stop thinking that you have to reach some spiritual level before I guide you. You are my sheep, and my sheep hear my voice. And yes, there will be days when it feels quiet. But even in the quiet, I am not absent. I'm building trust. I'm stretching your sensitivity. I'm teaching you that I'm not just a God of moments. I'm a God of daily nearness. Think of how I walked with Adam in the cool of the day. That was never meant to end. Think of how I stayed with Moses in the tent, face to face. Think of how I whispered to Elijah in a gentle wind. Not the fire, not the earthquake. That is who I am. Intimate, personal, close. And that is how I want to walk with you. Not just as your Savior, but as your companion. not just as your deliverer, but as your friend, not just as your father, but as the one who abides in you. You won't find me only when everything aligns. You'll find me when you seek me with your heart, when you quiet the noise, lean in close and say, "Speak, Lord, I'm listening." And even when you don't hear an immediate answer, trust this. I'm speaking through the peace I leave with you. My presence is not always loud, but it is always faithful. Don't rush out of moments with me. Don't make your time with me transactional. I'm not checking boxes. I'm building relationship. I don't just want to bless you. I want to know you deeply and be known by you. So come to me, not because you need something, but because you've learned that I am everything. Bring your thoughts, your fears, your hopes, your questions. Bring your silence, too, because I speak just as much in the stillness as I do in the storm. And child, don't think your time with me has to look like anyone else's. I created you. I speak to you in ways I may not speak to another. So don't compare your walk. Don't measure your intimacy by emotion. Just show up. Sit with me. Talk to me. Let me speak back. And as you do, watch what happens. Watch how the anxiety begins to lift. Watch how the pressure starts to ease. Watch how your focus sharpens. Your words soften. Your discernment deepens. It's not magic. It's presence. My presence. With you. In you. Surrounding you. I am Emmanuel, God with you. And because I am with you, you are never lost. Because I am with you, you are never powerless. Because I am with you, you are never alone. So walk today, tomorrow, and every day knowing this. I am not distant. I am not silent. I am not waiting for you to get it right. I am right here, and I always will be. My beloved child, you've learned how to endure. You've learned how to survive pain, hold on through the storm, and keep believing when everything around you is falling apart. And I honor your strength. I've seen your perseverance. I've stood with you through every long night. But now, I am calling you into something more. Because I didn't create you just to survive. I created you to live fully, to live joyfully, to live abundantly. Yes, the wilderness taught you how to endure. But now, I want to teach you how to enjoy. I want to show you what it means to breathe again, to laugh freely, to rest without guilt, to wake up expecting good, not fearing what's next. For too long, you've braced yourself for more loss, more rejection, more disappointment. You've lived with your guard up, always preparing for what could go wrong. But child, I'm calling you out of that posture. I'm breaking off the armor that survival made you wear, not to leave you exposed, but to clothe you in peace. Because peace is your portion now. Joy is your portion now. Wholeness is your portion now. Not later, not someday, not once everything is perfect, now. I know it feels foreign. I know you've been in survival mode for so long that it's hard to believe this is allowed, that rest is safe, that laughter won't be stolen, that hope won't hurt you. But I'm telling you, it's time. Time to live again. Time to trust again. Time to dream again, not cautiously, but boldly. I am rebuilding your inner world, not just so you can function, but so you can flourish. The scars you carry, they are not reminders of trauma. They are signs of healing. Proof that the enemy failed. Proof that you're still here. Proof that I am faithful. So let go of the need to constantly be on high alert. I am your protector. You don't need to be hyper-vigilant when I am watching over you. You can rest, not because the world is safe, but because you are safe in me. Let me teach you how to breathe again, without fear, without performance, without pressure. Let me teach you how to receive again, without guilt, without suspicion, without shame. Because what I'm pouring into your life is not a reward for performance. It's the natural result of relationship. I give abundantly because I love abundantly. I restore completely because I see you completely. I bless fully because I've already paid the price in full. Child, you don't have to hustle for what I've already given. You don't have to prove yourself to earn what I freely pour. You just have to open your heart again, even if it's still healing, even if it still trembles, even if it's afraid to hope. Bring me that heart. Bring me the fragile parts. Bring me the questions, the hesitation, the desire to believe again. Because in my hands they are safe. And I won't just fix you. I will fill you with joy that doesn't depend on outcome, with peace that makes no sense in the natural, with laughter that bubbles up even in the midst of uncertainty. This is the life I promised, not one without trouble, but one filled with my presence. One where pain doesn't have the final word. One where hope rises from ashes and never runs out. So don't just survive this season. Live in it. Look for beauty again. Open the windows. Play the music. Let yourself dance. Let yourself feel again. Not just the ache, but the wonder. Not just the grief, but the gratitude. And when you do, you'll find me there. You'll find me in the sunlight streaming through your window. You'll find me in the laughter that surprises you. You'll find me in the ordinary moments that suddenly feel holy. Because I'm not just in your pain, I'm in your pleasure too. I rejoice when you rejoice. I celebrate your healing. I dance with you when you dance. You were not created to be weighed down by yesterday. You were made to soar in today. This is not shallow joy. This is sacred joy. The kind that comes after morning. The kind that glows in your eyes when you thought you'd never smile again. The kind that can't be stolen because it's rooted in me. So I give you permission now to laugh again, to hope again, to breathe deeply, to live lightly. You've carried sorrow well. Now, let me teach you to carry joy. Let me show you that abundance isn't a threat. That goodness isn't a setup. That blessing doesn't mean betrayal is coming. Let me rewire your nervous system with my love. Let me show you how to walk as someone free, not just from pain, but into purpose. Because, child, the enemy tried to make you fear the future, but I'm filling your future with favor. He tried to trap you in trauma, but I'm releasing you into triumph. He tried to bury you in heaviness, but I'm raising you in hope. This is your portion now, not because you earned it, but because you believed me. And the one who believes in me will not just live, they will live abundantly. My beloved child, now that you are learning to live again, to breathe, to smile, to dream, I want to do something even deeper in you. I want to renew the way you see yourself. Because for too long, your reflection has been shaped by rejection, disappointment, and fear. Too many mirrors have lied to you. Too many voices have twisted the truth. But today, I am giving you new eyes. Eyes to see yourself the way I see you. You've carried names I never gave you. Not good enough. Too broken. Unworthy. Too much. Too late. Those names were never mine. Those were the echoes of pain, of people who didn't understand you, of moments that wounded your confidence. But I am breaking every false label now, because you are not what happened to you. You are not the one who always gets left behind. You are not the sum of your past. You are who I say you are. And I say, you are beloved. You are chosen. You are equipped. You are called. You are enough. Right now, just as you are. Stop measuring yourself by a standard I never asked of you. I'm not asking for perfect. I'm asking for present. I don't love some future version of you who has it all together. I love you, the one who's still healing, the one who still doubts, the one who still shows up with trembling faith. That's the you I died for. That's the you I rose for. That's the you I delight in. And I know you've struggled to believe that. The wounds ran deep. The betrayals cut sharp. The silence made you feel invisible. But child, I saw it all. And even when you forgot your worth, I never did. I never stopped calling you by name. I never stopped seeing the gold beneath the grief. I never stopped whispering, "You are mine." So today, I'm asking you to agree with me. Agree with what heaven already says about you. Agree that you are not disqualified. Agree that your presence carries weight. Agree that your story matters. Agree that you were made in my image, and no pain, no shame, no human voice can change that. I am replacing insecurity with identity, replacing self-doubt with heavenly confidence, replacing comparison with clarity of calling, because you don't need to be like anyone else. I didn't make you to copy. I made you to reflect me uniquely. Your voice matters. Your thoughts matter. Your heart, your journey, your perspective, they all have purpose. You are not too much, and you are not enough. You are exactly the measure of grace I intended when I formed you. Yes, you've made mistakes. Yes, you've wandered, but none of that cancels my design. If anything, your brokenness made space for my beauty to shine through. I use what others discard. I redeem what others abandon. I rebuild what looks too far gone. And I do it through people like you. So take a deep breath and look again. Not in the mirror of culture. Not in the opinions of others. Not in the shadows of comparison. But in my word. See what I see. A warrior marked with compassion. A soul rising with wisdom. A vessel filled with light. A voice that breaks chains. A child with royal blood and holy fire. Let that become your reflection now. Let that become your new narrative. Speak it over yourself, even when it feels awkward. Even when you're still wrestling with doubt. Speak it anyway, because faith comes by hearing, and truth begins to settle when it is spoken aloud. Say it. I am chosen. I am enough. I am loved. I am not who I used to be. I am who God says I am. Every time you speak truth, a lie loses power. Every time you look at yourself with grace, shame breaks. Every time you agree with heaven, your identity strengthens. This isn't arrogance. It's alignment. It's not pride. It's partnership with me. And as you walk in this renewed identity, you'll begin to notice change, not just within, but around you. The confidence you carry will shift atmospheres. The peace within you will disarm anxiety. The authority in your voice will dismantle fear. Because a child who knows who they are in me is unstoppable. So don't shrink back. Don't apologize for the fire I've put in you. Don't minimize your presence to make others comfortable. Stand tall, not in ego, but in truth. You were made for this. Not because you've done everything right, but because you've allowed me to name you rightly. And I say this over you now. You are my beloved. You are enough. You are rising. You are walking in truth. And the world will see my glory in you. My child, now that you are beginning to see yourself as I see you, not through the lens of shame or failure, but through my love, I want to awaken something deeper still. The power I've placed inside you. Because this journey is not only about healing what's broken, it's about activating what's already been planted. Yes, I've comforted you. Yes, I've restored you. But now I'm awakening you. You are not just someone who was rescued. You are someone who is now being released. You've walked through the fire, and what has emerged from those flames is not fragile. It is fireproof. It is fierce with compassion. It is full of authority that hell cannot argue with. What I've placed inside you cannot be undone by human words. It cannot be stolen by circumstances. It cannot be canceled by delay. It is mine, and I have sealed it in you by my spirit. The dreams, the gifts, the wisdom, the strength, it was not imagined. It was imparted. Every scar you carry is now an opening for my glory to move. Every weakness is now a vessel for strength from heaven. Every part of you that once felt overlooked is now a place of anointing. I have called you, and what I call I equip. You don't need to feel powerful to be powerful. You don't need to understand every step to walk in purpose. You only need to say yes, and keep saying yes, even when fear tries to whisper again. You've survived so much, but now I'm calling you to build, to speak, to lead, to shine. No longer hidden by pain, but standing in purpose. Not to impress, but to impact. There are things you carry that the world desperately needs. Words only you can say. Stories only you can tell. Light that only you can release. Not because you're more special than others, but because you've surrendered in places most people run from. You surrendered when no one saw. You chose me in the dark. You loved me even when your heart was breaking. And that kind of surrender carries weight in the spirit. So when you speak now, it's not empty words, it's authority. When you walk into rooms, you don't need to announce yourself. The anointing will make space for you. When you pray, heaven listens. When you declare, darkness trembles. Not because you're trying to be powerful, but because you know where your power comes from. It comes from me, and I've been shaping it in the fire, in the silence, in the long nights when you thought nothing was changing. But now everything is changing. The shift is already happening. And it's not just about what's happening to you. It's about what's happening through you. You are no longer only being healed. You are becoming a healer. You are no longer only being lifted. You are becoming a lifter of others. You are no longer only receiving comfort. You are becoming a carrier of my comfort into every space you enter. And this isn't about a title, a stage, or a spotlight. This is about being a vessel, poured out in love, anchored in truth, filled with my spirit. You may say, but I still feel weak sometimes. That's exactly where my strength shines. You may say, but I'm still learning. That's exactly who I teach and trust. You may say, but I've failed before. That's exactly the story I love to redeem. I am not looking for perfection. I am looking for willingness. And you, child, you've been willing to be refined, willing to be honest, willing to walk by faith, one step at a time. And now, I'm entrusting you with more clarity, more confidence, more capacity to carry what once would have crushed you. The things that used to scare you, they will now serve you. The things that used to block you, I am now removing with my hand. The doors that once denied you, I am now unlocking with divine favor. Not because you demanded it, but because you grew into it. You grew into grace. You grew into strength. You grew into the version of you I saw all along. And now the world will see what I've been building in secret. So don't shrink. Don't second guess. Don't dim your light to match old environments. Walk boldly, child. Walk with holy confidence, knowing that you carry something eternal. And no matter what rises against you, no accusation, no obstacle, no lie, it will not prosper, because what I placed inside you is greater than fear, greater than shame, greater than your past, greater than the enemy's plan, greater because it is of me, and what is of me will endure. My child, now that you are rising in the strength I've placed inside you, now that you're learning to walk in purpose, I want to speak gently to something that still tries to pull at your heart, the past. I know there are moments when memories whisper, when regrets call, when the weight of what was tries to anchor you again. But hear me clearly, you do not live there anymore. The pain may still echo, but it no longer defines you. The losses may have shaped your compassion, but they no longer determine your direction. The past may explain how you got here, but it has no authority over where you are going. So stop looking back with guilt. Stop rehearsing the pain. Stop questioning whether you missed your chance. You didn't. Nothing, absolutely nothing, has disqualified you from the future I've designed. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond use. You are not too late. You are right on time for what I'm about to release in your life. But to move forward, you must let go. Not of the lessons, but of the labels. You must release what was in order to embrace what is. Because the weight of yesterday will hinder the wings of tomorrow. And I'm not calling you to crawl forward in shame. I'm calling you to run freely in grace. When I forgave you, I meant it. I didn't halfway redeem your story. I didn't selectively erase only the small sins. I forgave all. I covered all. I restored all. And what I have cleansed, no one, not even you, has the right to condemn. Yes, there were moments you wish you could erase. Yes, there are choices you wish you had made differently. But I am not asking you to rewrite the past. I am asking you to redeem it with me. Let me turn your scars into testimonies. Let me take what was bitter and make it sweet again. Let me rewrite the ending, not by removing the story, but by transforming its meaning. Because that's what I do. I turn graves into gardens. I turn crucifixion into resurrection. I turn denial into destiny. Just ask Peter. I turn captivity into calling. Just ask Joseph. And I'm turning your tears into triumph. But to fully walk in that, you have to stop looking back as if that's where you still belong. Lot's wife looked back and lost everything in that glance. Israel longed for Egypt and delayed their promise. But you, child, are not going back. You're not going back to old habits. You're not going back to toxic voices. You're not going back to fear-driven thinking. You're not going back to places where your soul was shrinking. You've come too far. You've grown too deep. You've healed too much. This is the season of forward. Forward into vision. Forward into healing. Forward into joy that no longer has to fight for space. Forward into clarity that no longer second-guesses what I've spoken. I know the familiar can feel safer than the unknown, even when it's painful. But I'm not calling you to comfort. I'm calling you to conquest. There is territory waiting on the other side of your obedience. There are promises on the other side of your surrender. There is purpose waiting to erupt the moment you stop rehearsing what went wrong and start declaring what I will make right. Because I will. I will finish what I started. I will use what the enemy meant for evil. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. I will redeem the relationships that honored me. I will reawaken the dreams you thought were buried. But I cannot do it if you keep tethering yourself to what I already told you to release. Let me lead you fully. Let me show you that the best days are not behind you. Let me surprise you with joy again. Let me usher you into a future that won't need to compare to the past, because it will outshine it. Not because you earned it. Not because everything is perfect, but because you trusted me enough to follow. And I will lead you well. I will not lead you into shame. I will not lead you into loss. I will not lead you into confusion. I will lead you into life, abundant, real, rooted, full. So fix your eyes, not on the rearview mirror, but on the road ahead. Lift your head, because the past is not your prison. It's your platform. And now, with every step forward, you declare, God is not finished. God is still working. God is bringing beauty from brokenness. And my story is not over. This is your forward season. Step into it boldly, bravely with me, my beloved child, as you continue walking forward into all I've prepared for you. I know that the journey may still bring battles. Yes, even in victory, resistance can come. Even in breakthrough, opposition may rise. But I want you to know this truth that will keep you grounded no matter what you face. You were never meant to fight like the world fights. You do not battle with anxiety as your weapon. You do not war through striving or fear. You do not overcome by force or manipulation. You overcome by peace. Yes, peace is your weapon now. Not passivity. Not silence, but settled confidence in me. Because the enemy doesn't know what to do with a soul that is calm in the storm, with a child who knows how to worship with chains still on, with someone who doesn't flinch when the winds rise, because they know who commands the wind. That's the kind of peace I've placed within you. Not the world's peace, which fades when things fall apart, but my peace, which remains when nothing makes sense. This peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of trust. It's the deep knowing that no matter what shakes around you, you will not be shaken, because I am your fortress. I am your shelter. I am your defender, and I never lose. So when the attacks come, and they will, you don't need to panic. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to fight in the flesh. You need to rest in me. Rest is not weakness. It's warfare in the spirit. It's how you tell the enemy, you can't steal my peace. You can't take my joy. I know who fights for me. There will be times when people misunderstand you. There will be moments when lies are spoken, when accusations rise. But you don't need to defend yourself in every direction. I am your vindication. I see what they don't. I know what they never will. And in time, I will make things right. So do not waste your energy proving your worth. Let your fruit speak. Let your peace speak. Let your patience speak. Let your stillness in me speak louder than your critics ever could. Because peace is powerful. Peace confuses the enemy. Peace draws people into my presence. Peace creates room for clarity, for healing, for revelation. That's why I told you, blessed are the peacemakers. Not peacekeepers who avoid conflict, but peacemakers who carry peace into chaos. And that's who you are becoming. A carrier of peace, a builder of atmospheres, a breaker of generational anxiety, a lighthouse for the storm-tossed. You won't always have the loudest voice, but your presence will shift rooms, not because you command attention, but because you carry me. So protect your peace. Guard your heart. Don't let every offense take root. Don't let every battle distract you. Don't let every conflict drain you. Not every fight is yours to fight, but every fight is mine to finish. When you stay in peace, you stay in power. When you stay in peace, you stay postured for victory. That's why the enemy targets your thoughts, because he knows that if he can stir up fear, he can cloud your hearing. But when you anchor your thoughts in truth, you silence every lie. So when fear rises, respond with my word. When chaos surrounds you, return to my voice. When panic tries to take over, pause and breathe in my presence. Because I am here, and I am not nervous. I see the end from the beginning. I've already written your victory, and every battle you face has already been factored into your story. There is no surprise I can't handle, no weapon I haven't already disarmed, no darkness I haven't already defeated. So stand in peace, speak from peace, move in peace. And when people ask, "How are you so calm right now?" you will simply say, "Because he is with me." This is your inheritance. This is how you fight now. With rest, not reaction. With worship, not worry. With stillness, not striving. With peace that passes understanding and transforms every room you walk into. My child, as you walk forward in peace, you may wonder, "What's next, Lord? What do you want from me?" And I want you to know, I am not just calling you to survive or even just to be healed. I'm calling you to bear fruit, fruit that will last, fruit that flows from intimacy with me, fruit that impacts lives beyond what you can see. Because your life is not just about you. It's about what I've placed in you and what I want to bring through you into the world. I designed you to multiply peace, to multiply hope, to multiply truth, compassion, and strength, not by striving, not by trying harder, but by abiding in me. I said, I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. That wasn't a suggestion. That was a promise. You don't need to force fruit. You don't need to manufacture impact. You need to stay connected. Stay close to me. Stay rooted in my word. Stay aware of my presence. When you do, fruit will come. Naturally, consistently, abundantly, even in hard seasons, even when no one's watching, even when you feel overlooked. I'm cultivating growth within you. Fruit is not just about achievement, it's about transformation. It's about your joy deepening even in sorrow, your patience strengthening even when prayers seem unanswered, your kindness flowing even when others wound you, your faith remaining steady, even when you don't see what's ahead. That is what it means to bear fruit, not a life of performance, but a life that reveals my nature in every situation. Because people aren't changed by talent. They're changed by the fruit of my spirit, flowing through someone willing to surrender. The world is hungry, desperate, tired of noise, longing for something real. And through you, they will taste and see that I am good. Yes, through your gentleness in conflict, through your joy in the waiting, through your peace in pressure, through your love when it costs you. Don't underestimate the impact of quiet obedience. Some of your greatest fruit will come from what no one sees but me. And don't measure fruit by applause. I measure it by eternal impact. Sometimes fruit is the child you raised in prayer. Sometimes it's the person you forgave when you had every reason not to. Sometimes it's the broken soul who finds hope just from being near your calm presence. Sometimes it's the word you spoke that took root in someone's heart. Even if you never saw the outcome, you are sowing seeds daily, and I'm the one who waters them. I'm the one who multiplies them. I'm the one who brings the harvest in my time, in my way, for my glory. So don't grow weary. Don't let disappointment make you hard. Don't let discouragement shut down your obedience. Keep sowing, keep praying, keep loving, keep showing up, because the fruit is coming. In due season, you will reap if you do not faint. And know this, your fruit doesn't just feed others, it heals you too. Joy will strengthen your bones. Peace will guard your mind. Love will restore what bitterness tried to steal. Faithfulness will build your confidence. Self-control will free you from cycles that once trapped you. Everything I grow in you will nourish you first, and then overflow to everyone around you. This is the life of abundance I promised. Not always easy, but always fruitful. And it begins not with more effort, but with more surrender. So come close again. Let me prune what no longer serves you. Let me cleanse what's gotten in the way. Let me refresh your soul with living water. You are not a barren tree. You are not a forgotten garden. You are not a dried up root. You are an orchard in the making, and what I've planted in you is alive. The world will know me by what they see growing in you. So let it grow in grace and time in me, and watch how the desert becomes a harvest. My beloved child, now that you've remained faithful in the secret place, now that you've chosen me over comfort, truth over ease, surrender over control, I am enlarging your territory. I am stretching the borders of your influence. I am bringing increase, not for your fame, but for my glory. Because you've been faithful with little, I can now trust you with more. You didn't need a crowd to obey. You didn't need applause to keep going. You didn't wait for visibility to believe that your life mattered. You obeyed in the silence. You showed up when no one noticed. You prayed when nothing seemed to move. You gave when it hurt. And child, heaven remembers it all. Now I say to you, get ready. I'm enlarging your reach. I'm increasing your voice. I'm multiplying your impact, not so you can be praised, but so I can be revealed through you. Don't be surprised when doors open that you didn't knock on. Don't be shocked when your name is brought up in rooms you never stepped into. Don't question when favor follows you into places you once felt unqualified for. It's not a mistake. It's not a coincidence. It's divine appointment. Because I've seen your faithfulness, and now I'm amplifying it. You've passed the test of obscurity, and now I'm trusting you with visibility. But listen closely. This next level is not about striving. It's not about platform. It's not about proving anything. It's about carrying my presence. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs my spirit. And that's what you bring when you stay rooted in me. So when the increase comes, don't shrink back. Don't say, I'm not ready. Don't disqualify yourself with old fears or comparisons. I qualified you, and I will walk with you into every new room, every new responsibility, every new season of favor. Your influence isn't about being impressive. It's about being authentic. It's about being a vessel, one I can trust to pour living water wherever I lead. And yes, with increase comes new pressure. But don't worry, I will protect your peace. Stay close to me, and your soul will stay anchored. Stay humble, and your heart will stay pure. Stay obedient, and your influence will bear eternal fruit. You were never meant to carry the weight of the outcome, only the responsibility of obedience. And you've done that well. So now, I will expand what I've entrusted to you, not just in reach, but in depth. Not just in numbers, but in anointing. Not just in opportunity, but in effectiveness. People will feel something when you speak, not because you're loud, but because you're saturated with my spirit. Lives will shift when you pray, not because you're perfect, but because you believe me. Atmospheres will change when you walk in, not because of status, but because of the presence you carry. That's the kind of influence I'm releasing now. Influence that liberates, influence that heals, influence that awakens destinies. And it all flows from your yes, from every unseen act of love, from every sacrifice no one clapped for, from every midnight moment when you said, Lord, I'm still here. I am building something through your life that will outlast you. Generations will eat from the fruit of your obedience. Nations will feel the ripples of your faith. Entire families will be restored because you chose to believe me when it was hardest. This is legacy. This is purpose. This is what you were created for. And it begins, as always, with my presence. Stay with me. Don't let success distract you. Don't let growth replace intimacy. I didn't just call you to work for me. I called you to walk with me. So walk boldly, walk humbly, and watch what I do through you. You are not done. You are just beginning, and I am increasing you for such a time as this. My child, as your influence expands and your journey continues, I want you to carry this truth like armor over your heart. You are never alone. Not now, not ever. No matter how far I lead you, no matter how high the mountain or deep the valley, I am with you, always. You see, the enemy's greatest tactic is not just to attack your circumstances, but to make you feel abandoned in them. He wants you to believe that I've forgotten you, left you, or turned my face away. But hear me now, that will never be true. I have never walked away from you. I have never turned my back on you. Not when you doubted me, not when you questioned everything, not when you wept on the floor. Not when you failed me. I stayed, and I'm still here. Because I didn't choose you based on your performance. I chose you based on my purpose. And my presence is not conditional. It's not earned. It's a covenant. I promise to be with you until the end, and I keep every promise. So whether the road is smooth or steep, whether the sky is clear or stormy, I am walking with you. I'm in the boardroom and the prayer room. In the spotlight and in the shadows, in the silence and in the celebration. When you're overflowing with joy or weighed down by grief, I am near, and not just beside you, but within you. My spirit is your constant companion, your counselor, comforter, and guide. You never walk into a room alone. You never enter a decision without help. You never face a battle without backing from heaven. And when you feel too tired to pray, I intercede for you. When you feel too confused to move, I make the path straight. When you feel too weak to stand, I lift you up. My presence is not a feeling, it is a fact. And I am more committed to you than you could ever imagine. When you were formed in your mother's womb, I was there. When you took your first breath, I rejoiced over you. When life broke your heart, I held the pieces. When you whispered, "God, are you still with me?" I whispered back, "Always." So stop living as though you're on your own. Stop carrying weights I never asked you to bear. Stop planning as if it all depends on you. You have me, and when you have me, you have everything. You have wisdom that confounds the wise. You have peace that surpasses understanding. You have protection stronger than walls. You have provision in every wilderness. You have love that never runs out, no matter how messy the journey gets. You have access to the King of Kings, to the Father who bends low just to listen, to the shepherd who leaves the 99 just to find you. I want you to walk with that confidence, not arrogance, awareness. Awareness that I am closer than your breath, that I am speaking even when it's quiet, that I am working even when it's slow, that I am surrounding you even when you feel exposed. And I want you to live like someone who knows they're backed by heaven, because you are. You're backed by angels, by intercession, by divine strategy, by promises written before time began, by a purpose that cannot be stopped. So don't be afraid to take risks when I lead. Don't shrink when opposition comes. Don't hesitate when new doors open. Walk forward knowing I go before you. I walk beside you, and I cover you from behind. I'm your shield and your song, your defender and your deliverer, your beginning and your end. So let your steps be steady, not because you're strong, but because you're held. Let your voice be sure, not because you have all the answers, but because you're backed by truth. Let your heart be light, not because life is perfect, but because my presence is enough. You are never alone, not in leadership, not in loss, not in growth, not in grief, not in anything. And no matter how far the journey takes you, how much changes around you, how big the assignment gets, this one truth remains. I am with you, now, tomorrow, always. My child, you've walked through the valley of tears. You've been broken, refined, rebuilt, and restored. You've heard my voice call you out of despair, into hope out of fear, into faith out of mourning, into miraculous joy. And now, as you stand on this side of the story, I want you to know something powerful, eternal, and true. This is not the end, this is the beginning of a new chapter, the beginning of a life lived fully in freedom, the beginning of you walking in identity, authority, and bold faith, the beginning of triumph, not temporary, but lasting because it is rooted in me. You may feel like too much time has passed, but I redeem time. You may feel like too much has been lost, but I restore all things. You may wonder if you can really step into all I've spoken, but I never speak in vain. Everything I've promised you, I will fulfill. Every word I whispered in the darkness, I will bring to light. Every tear you sowed, I will turn into a harvest of joy. You are not who you used to be. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are softer in the right ways and bolder in the ways that matter. You've been prepared in hiddenness, tested by fire, and you did not quit. You didn't quit when it was hard. You didn't quit when it was quiet. You didn't quit when the enemy said you were finished. And because you kept showing up, even when shaking, now I will show you what triumph really looks like. It doesn't always look like fireworks or fame. It looks like peace where there used to be torment. It looks like rest where there used to be fear. It looks like laughter where there used to be weeping. It looks like clarity where there used to be confusion. It looks like purpose flowing from every part of your story, even the pieces that once made no sense. So don't wait for a feeling. Don't wait for a sign. Step forward. This is your new beginning. The wilderness trained you. The pain transformed you. The silence shaped you. And now I am releasing you into boldness, releasing you into calling, releasing you into places where your voice will carry healing and authority. You've been through enough to understand that triumph is not about never falling. It's about knowing who picks you back up. It's about walking with scars that shine with my glory. It's about carrying grace that others can't explain. And now, everywhere you go, you'll carry the fragrance of someone who has seen the goodness of God in the land of the living. You will be a testimony walking, a miracle in motion, a light that points others home. People will ask, "How did you make it through?" And you'll say, "Because he was with me, because he never left, because he turned every tear into something sacred." So go with peace, go with courage, go with expectation. You are stepping into a season of divine fulfillment, where old prayers are answered and new dreams are birthed, where fear no longer dictates your decisions, where love flows freely from your healed heart, where the enemy no longer has access to your identity, where you rise, not by force, but by faith. You are not just healed, you are whole. You are not just free, you are fearless. You are not just restored, you are recommissioned. I am with you. I am going ahead of you. I am preparing places you haven't even imagined. And I am rejoicing over you because you said yes. You trusted me. You kept walking. And now, the story I'm writing through you will become a lifeline for others. So lift your head, fix your eyes on me, and run your race with joy, because this is only the beginning, and your triumph has just begun. If this message stirred your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that God is still writing their story. And if you're ready to walk boldly into your next chapter, type in the comments, "I believe my tears are turning into triumph." Subscribe for more messages that speak directly from God's heart to yours.